Hi everyone, I am Max and today I'll be going to discuss the part of globalization and production strategy, which are the strategy implementation, identifying critical success factors, building and staffing the organization. For the first lesson, we have strategy development and implementation. In implementing or applying a strategy, we must know when to start, where to start, how fast to proceed, how to coordinate the implementation program in order to ensure the efficiency and the correct implementation of a strategy. We have here the 5 P's of operation strategy implementation. The first one is the purpose, which is a shared understanding of the motivation, boundaries, and context for developing the operation strategy. Second one is the point of entry, which is described as the point in the organization where the process of implementation starts. Next is the process. It describes how the operation strategy formulation process is made explicit. Fourth is the project management, which described as the management of the implementation. And for the last one, participation, that is described as the one who's involved in the implementation of a strategy. A SWOT analysis, on the other hand, is a formal review of internal strengths and weaknesses and external opportunities and threats. Beginning with SWOT analysis, organizations position themselves through their strategy to have a competitive advantage. A firm may have excellent design skills or great talent at identifying outstanding locations. However, it may recognize limitations of its manufacturing process or in finding good suppliers. The idea is to maximize opportunities and minimize threats in the environment while maximizing the advantages of the organization's strengths and minimizing the weaknesses. Any preconceived ideas about mission are then re-evaluated to ensure that they are consistent with the SWOT analysis. Subsequently, a strategy for achieving the mission is developed. This strategy is continually evaluated against the value provided customers and competitive realities. The process is shown in this figure. From this process, key success factors are identified. Next lesson is identifying critical success factors in an organization. Why critical success factors important? Sometimes, it can be hard to get everyone in your team to focus on what really matters. That's where critical success factors can help. Identifying critical success factors enable you to track and measure your progress toward achieving strategic goals and ultimately to fulfilling your organization's mission. They also provide a common point of reference so that everyone knows what exactly is the most important, ensuring that tasks and projects are aligned across teams and departments. What do we mean when we say key success factors and core competencies? And why do we need to know them? It's generally because no firm does everything exceptionally well. A successful strategy requires determining the firm's key success factors and core competencies. Key success factors or KSFs are those activities that are necessary for a firm to achieve its goals. Key success factors can be so significant that a firm must get them right to survive. A KSF for McDonald's, for example, is layout. Without an effective drive-thru and an efficient kitchen, McDonald's cannot be successful. KSFs are often necessary but not sufficient for competitive advantage. On the other hand, core competencies are the set of unique skills, talents, and capabilities that a firm does at a world-class standard. While McDonald's KSFs may include layout, its core competency may be consistency and quality. Core competencies allow a firm to set itself apart and develop a competitive advantage. Organizations that prosper identify the core competencies and nurture them. Identifying and communicating CSFs within your organization helps to ensure that your business or project is focused on its aims and objectives. That avoids wasting effort and resources on less important areas. So, how are we going to identify and develop critical success factors? First is to establish your organization's mission and strategic goals. For each strategic goal, ask yourself, success in what area of business or project is essential to achieve this goal? The answers to the question are your potential or candidate CSFs. Third, evaluate your list of candidate CSFs to identify the ones that are truly essential for achieving your goals. These are your critical success factors. As you identify and evaluate candidate CSFs, you may uncover some new strategic objectives or refine existing ones. So, you may need to redefine your goals and CSFs as long as you go along. Fourth, work out how you will monitor and measure each of your CSFs. Next, clearly communicate your CSFs to those responsible for delivering them and to the rest of the business. Lastly, continually monitor and reassess your CSFs to make sure that you stay on track toward your goals. Although CSFs can be less tangible than measurable targets or key performance indicators, monitor each one as specifically as possible. Let's look at the example of a theoretical company, Fresh's Farm Produce. Their mission is to become the #1 produce store in Main Street by selling the highest quality, freshest farm produce to our customers. The company's strategic objectives are to gain local market share of 25%, fulfill the farm-to-customer in 24 hours for 75% of products promised, sustain a customer satisfaction rate of 98%, expand its product range to attract more customers, and lastly is to extend store space to accommodate new products and customers. Using these objectives, the Fresh's Farm planners start by brainstorming the candidate CSFs as shown in the table. Once they have a list of candidate CSFs, they consider which ones are the most important. The first CSF that Fresh's Farm identify from the list is to attract new customers. Without new customers, the store will be unable to increase its market share. The second CSF is to maintain and develop relationships with local suppliers. This is vital to ensure freshness and to source new products. And the third CSF is to secure financing for expansion. The store cannot meet its objectives without the funds to invest in expanding its store space. The other factors, such as retaining and training staff, are important but don't have immediate critical impact on the CSFs. John F. Brockhart of MIT Sloan School of Management identified 4 main types of CSFs. Each of the CSFs that established in an organization will likely fall into and have been defined by one of these groups. The first one is the industry factors that is resolved from the specific characteristics of your industry. These are the things that you must do to remain competitive within your sector. For example, a tech startup might identify innovation as a CSF. Next, environmental factors result from macro-environmental influences on your organization. The business climate, the economy, their competitors, and technological advancements, for example. A pest analysis or political, economic, social, and technological analysis can help you understand the environmental factors better. Strategic factors result from the specific competitive strategy that your organization follows. This could include the way your organization chooses to position and market itself, and whether it's a high-volume, low-cost producer or a low-volume, high-cost one. Lastly, temporal factors result from the organization's internal changes and growth and are usually short-lived. Specific barriers, challenges, directions, and influences will determine the CSFs. For example, a rapidly expanding business might have a CSF of increasing its international sales. Only by identifying and strengthening key success factors and core competencies can an organization achieve sustainable competitive advantage. In this text, we focus the 10 strategic OM decisions that typically include the KSFs. These decisions, plus major decision areas for marketing and finance, are shown in this figure. The idea is to build KSFs and core competencies that provide a competitive advantage and support a successful strategy and mission. A core competency may be the ability to perform the KSFs or a combination of KSFs. The operations manager begins the inquiry by asking, what tasks must be done particularly well for a given strategy to succeed? Which activities provide a competitive advantage? Which elements contain the highest likelihood of failure and which require additional commitment of managerial, monetary, technological, and human resources? The third and the last one is building and staffing the organization. How or what is the process in building and staffing the organization? First, once a strategy, key success factors, and the necessary integration have been identified, the second step is to group the necessary activities into an organizational structure. Then, managers must staff the organization with personnel who will get the job done. The manager works with subordinate managers to build plans, budgets, and programs that will successfully implement strategies that achieve missions. Firms tackle this organization of the operations function in a variety of ways. The operations manager's job is to implement an operation management strategy, provide competitive advantage, and increase productivity. For the last illustration, whatever the key success factors and core competencies, they must be supported by the related activities. One approach to identifying the activities is an activity map, which links competitive advantage, key success factors, and supporting activities. For example, this figure shows how Southwest Airlines, whose core competencies is operations, built a set of integrated activities to support its low-cost competitive advantage. Notice how KSFs support operations and in turn are supported by other activities. The activities fit together and reinforce each other. In this way, all of the other areas support the company's objectives. For example, short-term scheduling in the airline industry is dominated by volatile customer travel patterns. Day-of-week preferences, holidays, seasonality, college schedules, and so on all play roles in changing flight schedules. Consequently, airline scheduling, although an OM activity, is tied to marketing. Effective scheduling in the trucking industry is reflected in the amount of time trucks travel loaded. but maximizing the time trucks travel loaded requires the integration of information from deliveries completed, pickup spending, driver availability, truck maintenance, and customer priority. Success requires integration of all these activities. The better the activities are integrated and reinforce each other, the more sustainable and competitive advantage. By focusing on enhancing its core competence and KSFs with a supporting set of activities, firms such as Southwest Airlines have built successful strategies. Again, I am Max Rini Gonsalvo from BS Accountancy 1-5, and I hope that you have learned something on my report. Thank you and good day everyone!